This is the House Lord reading for Devi, concise, technical, and direct. Virgo rises. So Devi's chart operates through analysis, correction, service, skill, health, precision, and refinement. But because the first house holds Sun, Mars, and Venus, the self is heavily loaded. Identity, body, anger, beauty, worth, service, criticism, desire, and self-pressure all concentrate in the ascendant. This is not a passive chart. It is a chart of functional pressure. The major active houses are 1st, 2nd, 6th, 7th, 10th, and 12th. So the dominant life fields are self-development, speech, wealth, work, health, conflict, relationships, career, expenditure, solitude, and spiritual exhaustion. The core mechanism is simple. Self, speech, money, work, relationships, and health are interlocked. When one area is disturbed, the others respond. The first Lord Mercury is placed in the second house in Libra, Swatipada 2. This makes Devi's identity operate through speech, values, money, family conditioning, knowledge, and voice. She becomes visible through what she says, how she thinks, how she earns, and what she values. Mercury in Libra gives negotiation, balance, comparison, advisory ability, and commercial intelligence. Swati gives independence, movement, adaptability, and self-directed thinking. So her voice is not casual. Her speech carries identity and economic value. If used well, it builds trust, money, status, and influence. If misused, it creates distance, criticism, and relational damage. The second Lord Venus is placed in the first house in Virgo, Uttara Falguni Pada 3. This creates a direct first-second house exchange. Mercury from the first goes to the second, and Venus from the second comes to the first. This is one of the central engines of the chart. This exchange ties self-worth, speech, wealth, family values, personal appearance, and identity together. Devi's personality affects her income. Her speech affects her relationships. Her values affect her self-confidence. Her presentation affects how people receive her. But Venus in Virgo is analytical, selective, critical, and service-oriented. It can make her over-examine love, beauty, worth, and pleasure. She may give affection through usefulness, correction, and practical support. The risk is confusing love with service and worth with perfection. This exchange is excellent for wealth through speech, advisory work, refinement, and personal credibility, but emotionally it can create self-criticism and relationship dissatisfaction. The third Lord Mars is in the first house in Virgo, Hastapada 3. This gives courage, effort, technical skill, direct communication, enterprise, and hands-on competence. Mars in Virgo gives diagnostic force. It does not merely act, it identifies faults and corrects them. Hasta adds technique, control, execution, and practical skill. This is strong for analysis, operations, engineering, healing, editing, writing, tools, systems, diagnostics, and process correction. But Mars in the first makes Devi impatient with incompetence, disorder, and lack of accountability. If disciplined, it gives effectiveness. If undisciplined, it gives sharpness, anger, criticism, and reactive speech. The fourth Lord Jupiter is in the sixth house in Aquarius, Shatabisha Pada 3, retrograde. The fourth house governs home, mother, peace, emotional foundation, property, and inner security. Its Lord in the sixth makes peace conditional upon discipline, routine, health, service, and conflict resolution. Home may involve duty, problem-solving, health concerns, disagreement, emotional labor, or unresolved responsibilities. Jupiter in Aquarius gives system-level thinking and reformist intelligence. Shatabisha gives healing, diagnosis, secrecy, isolation, and the capacity to see hidden dysfunction. Retrograde Jupiter internalizes belief and makes Devi question inherited values. The result? Peace must be built, not assumed. If Devi does not maintain boundaries, routines, and emotional clarity, the fourth Lord in the sixth produces inner restlessness and domestic stress. The fifth Lord Saturn is in the 10th house in Gemini, Punarvasu Pada 2. The fifth house rules intelligence, creativity, children, romance, learning, judgment, and past merit. Its Lord in the 10th makes intelligence career-directed. Knowledge must become work. Creativity must become useful. Talent must become structured. Saturn in Gemini gives disciplined communication, serious learning, documentation skill, analytical writing, structured speech, and methodical thinking. Punarvasu gives repetition, rebuilding, recovery, and restoration after setbacks. This placement gives slow but durable intelligence. Devi may doubt her creative ability early, but mastery grows through repetition. Strong areas: teaching, consulting, writing, documentation, technical communication, analysis, planning, management, and structured advisory work. The sixth Lord Saturn is also in the 10th house. This is important. Saturn rules both the 5th and 6th houses and sits in the 10th, so intelligence and conflict both flow into career. The 6th house rules work, service, disease, debts, enemies, discipline, routines, competition, and problem solving. The 6th Lord in the 10th creates a professional life built around pressure, duty, systems, obstacles, and responsibility. This is strong for operations, compliance, law, administration, engineering, healthcare, analytics, process improvement, technical writing, service systems, and problem-solving roles. Conflict can build career strength. Competition can train her. Obstacles can become professional authority. But if overdone, this placement gives health stress, fatigue, resentment, and work heaviness. Career grows through discipline, but health must not be sacrificed. The 7th Lord Jupiter is in the 6th house in Aquarius, Shatabisha Pada 3, retrograde. This is a major relationship signature. The 7th house rules marriage, spouse, clients, partnerships, contracts, and public dealings. Its Lord in the 6th brings relationships into service, conflict, duty, health, adjustment, and imbalance. This does not deny partnership, but it makes partnership functional and karmic. Devi may attract partners who are intelligent, unconventional, work-focused, emotionally detached, burdened, idealistic, or in need of healing. Jupiter in Shatabisha can bring partners connected to healing, research, technology, institutions, or hidden complexity. The risk: Devi may turn relationship into diagnosis. She may correct, guide, manage, or improve the partner. Then love becomes service. Service becomes resentment, and resentment becomes criticism. The technical rule: Devi should choose maturity, not potential. Relationship requires clean agreements, emotional accountability, health boundaries, and practical compatibility. The 8th Lord Mars is in the 1st house in Virgo, Hastapada 3. The 8th house rules crisis, secrets, transformation, vulnerability, intimacy, occult knowledge, inheritance, sudden change, and psychological depth. Its Lord in the 1st makes transformation part of identity. Devi may go through repeated reinventions. She may be crisis aware, investigative, psychologically sharp, and drawn to hidden systems. Mars gives courage and survival force. Virgo Hasta gives precision and technical diagnosis. This is excellent for research, psychology, occult analysis, healing, crisis management, fault-finding, and deep investigation. The risk is hypervigilance, suspicion, control, and defensiveness. The 8th Lord must be used for transformation, not fear. The 9th Lord Venus is in the 1st house in Virgo, Uttara Falguni, Pada 3. The 9th house rules Dharma, fortune, father, teachers, higher learning, ethics, blessings, and philosophy. Its Lord in the 1st brings Dharma into personality. Devi's fortune improves through refinement, learning, ethical conduct, dignity, service, beauty, counseling, guidance, and practical wisdom. But Venus in Virgo makes Dharma practical, not sentimental. She wants wisdom that works. Uttara Falguni adds contracts, loyalty, dignity, support, and social responsibility. The risk is perfectionism disguised as morality. She must not confuse imperfection with ethical failure. The 10th Lord Mercury is in the 2nd house in Libra, Swatipada 2. This is a strong professional signature. Career operates through speech, knowledge, finance, teaching, consulting, writing, negotiation, documentation, analysis, business communication, contracts, and advisory work. Because Mercury rules both the 1st and 10th, Devi's personality and profession are closely linked. Her voice, knowledge, and communication style can become career assets. Reputation is built through speech. Public words matter. This favors consulting, teaching, writing, finance, law, media, counseling, analytics, documentation, business strategy, and client-facing knowledge work. The 11th Lord Moon is in the 7th house in Pisces, Ravatipada 2. The 11th house rules gains, networks, ambitions, audience, elder siblings, and fulfillment of desires. Its Lord in the 7th gives gains through partnership, clients, spouse, collaborations, public interaction, and one-to-one relationships. Moon in Pisces gives emotional intelligence, compassion, intuition, imagination, and receptivity. Ravati gives guidance, protection, nourishment, travel, and completion. This supports counseling, healing, advisory work, consulting, teaching, audience-based work, and emotionally intelligent partnerships. But Moon in the 7th makes the mind sensitive to relational quality. The right people bring gains, the wrong people create confusion and emotional drain. The 12th Lord Sun is in the first house in Virgo. Hastapada 2. The 12th house rules loss, expenditure, sleep, solitude, foreign lands, retreat, hospitals, subconscious patterns, spiritual release, and moksha. Its lord in the first brings 12th house themes directly into identity. Devi may need solitude, private processing, foreign links, spiritual searching, or periods of withdrawal. She may spend on health, self-development, travel, service, learning, or personal refinement. Sun in Virgo wants usefulness and order. Hasta gives control, skill, and execution. But the 12th Lord in the first can create self-sacrifice and energy leakage. Service must not become self-erasure. Otherwise, this placement produces fatigue, sleep disturbance, withdrawal, and loss of vitality. Now combine the first house conjunction, Sun, Mars, and Venus in Virgo. Sun gives identity and authority. Mars gives action and aggression. Venus gives worth and refinement. In Virgo, all three become analytical, corrective, and service-oriented. Sun says, I must be useful. Mars says, I must fix what is inefficient. Venus says, I must refine what is imperfect. This creates competence, precision, attraction, skill, and discipline. But it also creates criticism, nervous tension, dissatisfaction, and over-control. The first house receives the results of the second, third, eighth, ninth, and 12th lords. So the body and identity carry wealth, courage, transformation, dharma, and expenditure. The self is the main operating platform of the chart. The main technical patterns are these. The first to second exchange links identity, speech, money, family values, and self-worth. Devi must master speech, pricing, financial confidence, and self-respect. The 4th and 7th lords in the 6th link home and partnership to duty, service, conflict, and health. Peace and marriage need boundaries. The 5th and 6th lord Saturn in the 10th links intelligence and conflict to career. Work requires discipline, structure, endurance, and technical communication. The 10th lord in the 2nd makes speech and knowledge professional assets. The 11th lord in the 7th gives gains through people, but emotional stability depends on relationship quality. The 12th lord in the 1st warns against energy leakage, overservice, and self-sacrifice. The dominant houses needing attention are clear. The first house needs attention because the self is overloaded. Devi must manage health, anger, self-criticism, appearance pressure, and body stress. The second house needs attention because speech and money are powerful. Words can create wealth or damage trust. The 6th house needs attention because peace and partnership both flow there. Conflict, service imbalance, and health routines matter. The 7th house needs attention because gains and emotional stability come through relationships. The 10th house needs attention because Saturn makes career slow, serious, and responsibility heavy. The 12th house needs attention because energy loss, sleep, solitude, and expenditure affect identity. The practical reading is sharp. Devi is suited for analysis, consulting, teaching, writing, documentation, healing, operations, engineering, process improvement, finance, compliance, counseling, research, technical systems, and advisory roles. Career strength comes through Mercury and Saturn. Communication, structure, repetition, responsibility, and precision. Relationship challenge comes through Jupiter in the 6th and Venus in Virgo. Love must not become correction, duty, or a repair project. Wealth potential comes through the 1st to 2nd exchange and 10th lord in the 2nd. Speech, knowledge, credibility, and personal branding can generate income. Health sensitivity comes through Virgo ascendant, 6th house activation, Sun Mars in the 1st and 12th lord in the 1st, digestion, nerves, sleep, inflammation, stress, and overwork need management. Psychological depth comes through the 8th lord in the 1st. She is investigative, intense, and transformative, but must avoid suspicion and control. Dharma comes through the 9th lord in the 1st. She must embody values through conduct, dignity, and refined service. So the final house lord summary is this. The 1st lord in the 2nd says build identity through speech, knowledge, and value. The 2nd lord in the 1st says self-worth and wealth depend on personal refinement. The 3rd lord in the 1st says effort, courage, and skill define personality. The 4th lord in the 6th says peace requires discipline and boundaries. The 5th lord in the 10th says intelligence must become career authority. The 6th lord in the 10th says obstacles become professional strength. The 7th lord in the 6th says partnership needs maturity. not rescue. The eighth lord in the first says, transformation is part of identity. The ninth lord in the first says, fortune rises through conduct and values. The 10th lord in the second says, speech and knowledge build career. The 11th lord in the seventh says, gains come through people and partnerships. The 12th lord in the first says, serve without losing yourself. Devi's chart is about converting pressure into precision. If she uses discipline, speech, skill, and boundaries, the chart gives competence, respect, wealth potential, career authority, and deep transformation. If she ignores the structure, the same chart gives overwork, criticism, relationship strain, health stress, emotional dissatisfaction, and self-worth issues. That is why House Lord analysis matters. It shows where life is operating, which houses are connected, what consequences repeat, and where maturity is required. If you want a personal reading that maps your own House Lords, exchanges, career direction, relationship patterns, money potential, health pressures, and karmic structure, get in touch with me for the reading that works for you. Your chart is not random. Your pressure is not random. Once you understand the structure, you stop reacting blindly and start working with life consciously.